Mr. Chair, allow me to state our position now for the shift of the calendar, which is also asked by this committee. So, Mr. Chair and the members of the committee, the position taken by the Department of Education and the gradual reversion to the April-May school break was based on the following. Number one, it is the preference of majority of the general public as reflected in the surveys conducted on the matter. And second, the significant economic impact of summer breaks as a tourism drive for local destinations in the country. Therefore, we would like to take this opportunity to clarify that the decision of gradual revert to April-May school break was not brought about by climate or weather considerations. The department already has a standing policy allowing our schools to immediately shift to ADM upon the determination that the school environment is no longer conducive to learning. The policy is being implemented to ensure learning continuity without compromising the health and safety of our learners, teachers, and school personnel. Initially, a 5-year period was the proposed timeline for the gradual reversion. Upon due consideration, however, the timeline was reduced to merely 2 school years. The proposed 2 school year gradual reversion was the subject of extensive consultations conducted from January to February this year with field personnel, parents organizations, teacher organizations, private school associations, student leaders, and various stakeholders. As a result of the consultation, school year 2024-2025 is scheduled to end May 16. That is in the next 2 weeks, Mr. Chair, while school year 2025-2026 will end on April 16, 2026, and to complete the reversion, school year 2026-2027 will already start by mid-June and end in March. Nonetheless, in response to the recent clamor for a more immediate reversion to the April-May school break, the department has already submitted a letter to the Office of the President presenting other options, including a more aggressive alternative of ending school year 2024-2025 in March 2025. In the meantime, we respectfully appeal to the committee to allow the President time to study the said options carefully. DepEd commits to implement this decision accordingly. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Going back to the calendar, ASEC, you mentioned earlier that from a 5-year reversion period, it's now 2 years. So for school year 2024-2025, the ending is May 16. Tama? For school year 2025-2026, the end of school year is April 16. No? So that will complete the transition by 2026. But you also have a proposal which is up for decision by the president that will end of school year for school year 2024-2025, the end of school year will be around March, no? And that's up for decision. In that particular case, we will now shorten school days. Can you describe to us what is in my opinion, no, my opinion, well, let's take the aggressive approach because we cannot predict things. Next year, it can be La Nina, it can be El Nino again. It's very difficult. Weather, it's like that. It's very hard to predict. But what's certain is we need to already revert back to the old calendar so that no matter what happens, we're already avoiding such extreme heat conditions. No? So can you describe to us that aggressive option? No? And that will definitely reduce the number of school days. No? So by the reduction of number of school days, how can we compensate the subjects and the competencies our learners should learn? No?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Definitely the aggressive approach that would end our school year, this coming school year by March 2025 would have several implications. Number one, we will have a shorter number of days in the school year. We have a Republic Act that would tell us that the minimum would be 180 up to 220 days. That is the current Republic Act that we have. But our option could be to count some days as alternative delivery mode and not which are not necessarily in-person classes. So we are looking at 165 days of full in-person if we do it aggressively. Number two, it will have an implication on the school break for teachers because we all know that teachers are entitled to the proportional vacation pay that is 2 months after each school year, and they are paid. The PVP is computed based on the number of school days in a given school year. So there has to be a compromise there. Actually, yung nangyaring adjustment this year, may 2 araw na compromise na tayo sa mga teachers doon sa PVP at pumayag naman sila sa compromise na yon. So we will see how far the compromise can go in terms of the number of days for the PVP. And number three, it will definitely have an effect on the number of days of the break for the learners, because if they will end in March, if they will end March 31, we will start in June, April, May. They will still have that break, but the medyo siksik, magiging siksik yung ating pag-tackle ng mga competencies natin in the shorter number of days. But as I have said, we still have option to go ADM for the other days apart from the weekdays. So those are in general, Mr. Chair.
We will be, with 165 days, we will be covering all the required competencies, all the required lessons and subjects.
Yes, Mr. Chair, that's why what I said was if we have 165 days, we have to look for some days that will be devoted to ADM to cover some of the competencies that may not be taken up during the
When you
regular
say
school year.
some days, that will be Saturday.
Definitely Saturdays and
So wala na
holidays,
silang
Mr. Chair.
pahinga. Saturday, may
Yun na nga,
pasok rin
Mr. Chair.
sila.
Yun yung sinasabi natin na isa sa mga compromises natin,
Yeah.
because if we do that aggressively, then sacrifice natin yung some hours for the learners and some days for the teachers as well.
And do you already have that already plot out, the aggressive option?
Yes, Mr. Chair, it is already what the Bureau of Learning Delivery, but we are not yet at liberty to divulge kung ano
Okay.
man yung actual appearance of a school calendar for the next
Yeah,
school year.
I'm sure
given
it's a
that.
work in
Yes.
progress.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
yeah. Well, in my opinion, again, no, weather's unpredictable. We don't know if next year will encounter the same or even worse weather conditions, or it will be better. We don't know. No, that's the nature of weather.